with the Utah Jazz, who stood out in Summer League so far this season.
Once again, folks, if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, or catching us on our live stream here every Wednesday evening, we did start a channel specifically for your Jazz content, Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below. All of our Jazz content will be posted here first, so if you're here for your Utah Jazz, check us out over there. And if you're watching us on Utah Jazz DNA, make sure you drop us a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, because we're going to be doing a jersey giveaway once the channel's monetized. So make sure to be around for that. Summer League, man, let's get into it. Now, obviously, I get it. It is Summer League, right, AJ? Let's preface this by that, right?
Please.
But setting expectations for this team based off of what you're seeing in Summer League, definitely something you need to pump the brakes on. We talked about that a lot last week. We want to talk a little bit about who stood out in the Summer League. Who's first on your list?
The thing about Summer League is playing in a league that is not full of NBA players. You have to be a men amongst boys in all of these leagues, right? I think Filipowski has done a really good job as, kind of being a standout. He had a 35-point performance against the Spurs. He's averaged 29.3, 7.7, and 2.3 assists through the 3 games he's played in Summer League. So, shooting 56.1% from the field and 39% from 3 in just over 28 minutes. It just shows this guy's ready. The team hasn't played well, but Filipowski's done a really good job coming out and just showing that he's above this level of play, right?
Honestly, man, I think the only reason why he was even playing in this version of the Summer League is simply because I think they just forgot to get another center for this team. I honestly think they did.
But I think the big reason that he was here was because they needed to see this from him.
Yeah. I think what really stood out for me about Kyle Filipowski, and yes, he's also first on my list. That's literally your first 2 sentences is exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
So thank you for stealing my notes there.
You're welcome.
Anyway, the thing that stood out to me more was not the performance, actually.
Yeah.
It was his defense. That's why he's a standout for me. His 35-point game against the San Antonio Spurs, 0 blocks. Now, he did have 11 rebounds, 1 steal, which he did have a plus-minus of 15 for the game, which is actually second highest for anybody on that court that day, which is really awesome, right? Yeah. In the Golden State Warriors game, he was second on the team in scoring with 21 points, 1 block, was a -4 on the plus-minus due to 3 turnovers and 8, count them, 8 personal fouls. But that is why it stood out to me. It was that 8 personal fouls that jumped out to me. And do you know why, AJ?
Because you're only supposed to have 5.
Because it's showing effort. It's showing what the Jazz actually want to see out of Filipowski, which is seeing some defense. We talked about this earlier with Isaiah Collier and Bryce Sensabaugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we were talking about how we needed to kind of see them. That's exactly why Isaiah even got a shot last year, is because KG3 got demoted to the bench because he wasn't playing defense.
Yeah.
I think what they really wanted to see out of him was some type of effort on the defensive end. With all that said, his performance on the offensive end stayed enough to where they're like, okay, we can't not have this guy on the floor.
Yeah.
But I think that his time with Utah as a center is done. He's probably going to be a power forward for the Utah Jazz going forward.
With his defensive woes, the way you clean that up is with Walker Kessler. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have him out on the floor with Walker, who, if people are just going to shuffle in, you can almost go back to the Rudy Gobert defense, right? Where it's okay to be a turnstile. You're just sending guys into Rudy Gobert and he cleans everything up.
Yeah.
And I think Walker Kessler is that type of player that can clean up a lot of that stuff as long as guys are making the correct switches like the Jazz used to do, right? The 2019 Jazz.
Because a lot of the time he went to go help the helper and then his guy got left. Nobody backed him up.
Yeah, those switches look a little more seamless than they do.
Yeah. And he also is long enough and lengthy enough to make altering some shots. So I definitely think it's going to be a lot better for him.
I worry about his lateral quickness, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's long. He's got natural length. But his lateral quickness worries me because NBA players are twice as fast as Summer League players.
Yeah, but I think exactly to your point, Kessler's fast. You're going to have a very improved Cody Williams when it comes to that. You're also going to have a lot of other Ace Bailey, who's just an athletic freak. You're going to have a lot of these other players on our team that are basically going to kind of, like you mentioned, make up for the lack of defense and kind of fill those holes. I don't think he necessarily has to have the lateral quickness at the power forward that he would need as a center to come off of those pick and rolls as strongly. But yeah, to me, that's what stood out about Kyle Filipowski. Not necessarily his offensive performance, because that's been well documented, but I think it's because of his inability on defense. He needs to see some court time, but I don't think it's going to be a center. I just think he can't back up Kessler. He needs to be on the floor with Kessler.
And maybe that's exactly what I think. Maybe that's why they got Jusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, we need a traditional 5 next to him. I
Yeah.
think that's exactly where that kind of trade actually jumps in for sure. My next would be Walter Clayton Jr.
I think that's a great pick. This guy's been an absolute stud. I mean, he had 20 points, 4 assists versus the Thunder. He had 4 made threes. He's everything we thought he was going to be as a player out there, right?
Yeah.
And he really needs this exposure to Summer League because everyone there is the best player from their college team, the best player in their division. To see him kind of step up and still be able to be really effective offensively. He's got really good vision. He makes really good passes.
One thing that kind of stood out to me with Walter Clayton Jr., what has happened in this summer league, is he showed me that this kid is going to be a starter for the Jazz this season. It may not be in October, but mark my words, with his shown maturity, basketball IQ, reliability on both sides of the ball for this team, easily the top 4 most NBA-ready player in the draft this year. You mentioned he averaged over 20 points in the summer league, shooting 47%. And 40% from 3 with 6 rebounds and 3 assists per game. He is a starting guard for the Utah Jazz. It's just whether or not it's going to be next to KG3 or Isaiah, I think is the question.
But I think it kind of depends on how this team looks defensively. Because if you can continue to be consistent defensively, I think you probably move to Walter Clayton. He's not as great of a defensive player as Isaiah Collier is, right? So as of now, knowing you might have some defensive weakness, you're going to lean more on Collier because he is great at the point of attack. Bringing the ball up, he does stay quick. But if you can get some defensive support in that, 2, 3, 4 spot, I think you might see Clayton, because he's a better offensive player, get into that role. So I like your take there, and I could definitely see your point.
Either way, depending on if Isaiah Collier is the starting point guard, I see Walter Clayton being your starting shooter guard. They're going to be undersized, but you also got to remember everybody else in that lineup. That we're going to have length at the 3, 4, and 5 that's going to be almost unmatched in the NBA. With the exception of OKC. But here's the problem, is that Isaiah can't shoot, man. He can't shoot. He's just not a shooter. He's just not consistent enough on the scoring side. You can't be a starting point guard in the NBA without being able to score the ball. The guy is an assist machine, which is something that Walter Clayton Jr. needs to work on a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which why I don't think he's going to come off the bench at least at the beginning of the year. But if you have Isaiah playing 1, then you got Walter Clayton Jr. playing 2. If you got KG3 in there starting, then Walter Clayton's gonna be running point, and KG3 I think has done enough over the last few years to prove that he's not a shooter. He's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. So I just think out of that, it depends on who's coming out. Like I said, I'm just calling my shot on it. I think Walter Clayton's in the starting lineup by the end of the year.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't think anybody cares that the Jazz didn't win a single Summer League game. Do you care?
No. Not even a little bit, actually.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, we did just launch a channel for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel dedicated to your Utah Jazz. All of our content will be posted here first. So if you have not yet and you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, a link to Utah Jazz DNA will be in the description down below. While you're down there, smash that like button for your boy AJ over there. Check out the merch store. We have a HotRod T-Shirt that's up right now on the merch store that I think is fire. If you didn't watch this team back in the day, then you don't know HotRod Hundley, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about, like this guy. But check it out. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think about the merch store. And again, subscribe to the channel. This is the type of stuff you enjoy watching.
Do it.